Hi guys and girls, and welcome to another episode of Kook Shed, my own little YouTube channel where I share ideas and tips and reviews related to surfing and bodyboarding generally. Today this is just going to be a quick one. I know I always say it's going to be a quick one and then I end up talking for way too long, but this one should be nice and quick, and it's just a handy little tip that might prove useful for you in the long run when it comes to surfing and bodyboarding. So today it's all about the Humble bobby pin. So a bobby pin, if you are not familiar with what they are, they're like a little hair pin, a pin that goes in your hair to hold your hair back or up in a certain style or whatever. And they can actually be quite handy to keep around if you surf or bodyboard. So I'll just put up a little, because the camera won't pick up on this one, it's too small, they're quite small. I'll just show you a pic of what I'm talking about right here. And that's what a bobby pin is. So that's what we're talking about today. You might call them something else. Where you're from, they might be called something else, but I'm just going to call them a bobby pin. So from time to time you might come across a leg rope of yours, or you might buy an old board, a used board that has a leg rope attached, or has a rope on it, like an attachment rope. This is just sort of like an attachment rope that attaches a leg rope to a rail saver, which then attaches to the pin on your board in the leash anchor. So and there's a couple other places you might find these sort of these pieces of nylon cord or rope. So also with bodyboarding, flipper savers. Some people have flipper savers and they get like knots in them, especially they swell with the water when they get wet. Or you might have an old flipper saver attached to an old flipper that you pull out and you can't get the flipper saver off. So this is all about getting the rope or the nylon cord undone, so that you can either attach a new one or simply just undo it and take it off, or whatever you need to do. But yeah, so these ropes over time in the salt water, they can perish, they can you know, get sort of welded on in the knot that they're in, especially if they've been pulled on by the leash, that sort of thing. So you might have a surfboard or bodyboard with this cord stuck on your board, and you might not want to cut it off because you might want to try and reuse it or something. I'm not sure, but you might not even have something that you can cut the cord with at the time. You might be traveling, or you just might not have it on you at the time. So I usually what I was using before the bobby pin was just whatever I could get my hands on, like a fin key. I'd try and get a fin key into the knot and sort of work it loose. But the fin key sort of has sharp, it's not a rounded point, and it can actually, while you're, you know, wrangling the fin key in there and trying to get the knot out to get the rope undone, you can actually damage the cord with the sharper edges in there. Also, you know, I know people have used like forks and things like that, so they have sharp edges, and they can actually work against the cord. They can actually damage the cord. So that's particularly important if you're trying to maintain the integrity of the cord to use later for whatever purpose. So what I've found with the bobby pin pardon me, is that they have well, first of all, I bend the bobby pin apart a little bit so I can use it into an almost straight sort of piece of metal. So they have a coating on them. I'm not sure whether it's like a plasticky coating. I don't know whether they dip them in some sort of a liquid plastic or something, but they have a coating on the metal, and right on the ends they've got sort of a little blob of the plastic. So what that means is it's got a rounded edge, it's not sharp, so you can use that sort of that rounded point to get in and sort of work the rope loose without necessarily damaging the rope. It seems to slide in better as well, like get right in the cracks and work them free quite quickly, I've noticed. And you also have you've got a generous you've also got a generous length of metal there, a generous length of bobby pin to sort of get in and work it and things like that. It's like the fin key's got quite a short piece of metal, and that might not work for all things. Whereas this, you've got a nice long bit there, and you can sort of get it in and work it through and get that cord sort of undone quite quickly. So I don't know why I've never thought of using one before. I had one of these attachment cords. Actually, I've got another video about these on the channel that you might want to check out. So yeah, one of these was really sort of locked on there. The looped knot was really hard to get out. I didn't want to use a fin key because I started and it looked like it might fray the rope. So I was looking for another option, and I grabbed my partner's. She had a bobby pin laying around, and I grabbed that, and it worked like really quickly. So I was impressed and I was happy with it, and so I thought I'd just let you know that they're actually quite handy. They don't damage the rope, and they're cheap. You can grab them anywhere. So it might be worth having one of these in your arsenal of surfing equipment, surfing gear, because you just never know when they'll come in handy, especially for undoing perished or locked on knots in rope and flipper savers. Some people use flipper savers that are just shoelaces, and they can get like really tight knots in them, especially if they go in and out of the water. So yeah, give the humble bobby pin a try to get any knots out, and it should be a safer option as well than the pointy end of a knife, or like a fork, like I mentioned, or any other things. I've even tried like pens sometimes, like if that's all I've got handy, a pen in the car or whatever. These are much better, and they do the job. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully that may help you in the future. If it did help you, let me know. And if you want to see more sort of ideas and tips and the odd review related to surfing and bodyboarding in future, yeah, hit subscribe, and I'll see you here next time on Kook Shed. Thanks for dropping in. Catch ya.